Whenever I make a savory meal, for example, I love a one pot meal. It is so simple. It is such an easy cleanup. It just makes a whole lot of sense. Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But we're talking today about brownies. Brownies using a one bowl recipe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uncomplicated. Okay, I mean, the ingredients are so simple. I'm just going to mention a few. What are you going to need? You're going to need eggs, going to need all purpose flour, sugar, butter, or oil. You have the option, cocoa powder, vanilla, salt, and of course, baking powder. All right, there you go. All right, so let's talk about this for a minute. We want to make brownies. We want to make them in a one bowl manner. First thing you're going to do is either use a half a cup of oil, unflavored, something like canola, or half a cup or one stick of melted butter. Okay, that you're going to do. Then to that, you're going to mix 1.5 cups of sugar. Then you're going to whisk together 2 eggs, large eggs preferably. You're going to throw in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. If imitation is all you have, then that's what you work with. If the real deal is what you have, then that's what you work with. All right. Okay, so next going to work with some cocoa powder. Okay, so the cocoa powder is 1/3 of a cup. Cocoa powder is an interesting thing. Many times we purchase it, we intend to use it for making like maybe hot chocolate or whatever, or other recipes. We don't do it many times. It's just sitting there. Well, now you have an opportunity to actually use it. There you go. So 1/3 of cocoa powder unsweetened. And all-purpose flour, what do you need? 3/4 of a cup of that. Going to need pinch of salt, and you're going to need 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, all this is going to get mixed together. Remember, you're not using any equipment. You are just carefully mixing it together. Do not over mix. Mix it, make sure it's well blended, but do not over mix because that releases gluten and it creates a tougher batter and then a tougher brownie. In the meantime, this has been all going on. You have been preheating your oven to 350 degrees. All right. Strong suggestion. Okay. Get a piece of aluminum foil. Make sure it overlaps your 8x8 pan, overlaps it to the sides. Let the sides hang out. Why? Because those sides that you're overlapping and letting stick out, you're going to just simply pull away from your pan when the brownies are done. Okay. After they're cooled for a couple of minutes, right? And you can just for safe measure, underneath before you place the foil, if you wish, you could use some nonstick spray under that with a little bit of flour, just to flour and spray it, just to make sure. But then you put the foil over that, and then you put your mixture in that in your 8x8 pan. Everything I just mentioned is simple. It's fast. I mean, once you get the hang of it, you could probably do it with your eyes closed. Not that I'm recommending that, but I'm just saying. So this is not like a rocket science recipe, but there's something wonderful about homemade brownies. 350 degrees, put it away. 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. Check your oven. Check with a toothpick, comes out clean, you're done. You know the drill. Commonly, people make a few mistakes. Sometimes they overmix, like I mentioned earlier. If you want a richer brownie, use more butter as opposed to using oil. Okay, so oil is okay, and it's a great swap out. And if you don't have butter, use the oil. You don't want to use your butter, use the oil. But I'm just saying that the butter creates more of a richer flavor. It just does. It enriches the batter. If you want a fudgy or cakey, more of like a if you want fudgy, you go for more fatty ingredients, not a lot, but a little more. If you want more of a cakey feel to your brownies, then you use a little bit more flour. Okay, so you judge that. I don't like to experiment. I like to, especially if I'm unfamiliar with a recipe. I personally, whenever I get a recipe that I have never used, I like to follow the rules of that recipe. And remember that baking is a science. So there are certain things that if you do a little too much of or a little too little of, and experienced bakers know this for sure. for sure and for true. I just thought I'd mention the idea of the brownies, not only for your family, but let's say you want to make a neighborly gift. A neighborly gift. I wouldn't mind anybody that I know knocking on my door saying, "Hey, Janet, just made you some homemade brownies. Thank you." What a kind gesture is that? Yes. So this is a great go-to recipe, and I wish everybody a lot of fun and a lot of luck, making this recipe. It's just something to keep on hand. Write it down for those nights when you want a little something for your family and you didn't make a cake. And this goes real fast. You don't have a box mix, but if you have everything that I mentioned, then you're doing very, very well. There you go. All right, everybody, have an amazing, fantastic day. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe.